2 new episodes of Phineas and Ferb have been released. And already, as if following the tradition of the 5th season, one of them isn't particularly interesting, while the other is simply amazing. In the first episode, Doofenshmirtz and Monogram organized a soccer match between the lovers and the OWC, while Phineas and Ferb are throwing sticks, and at the end, Monogram and Doof shaved each other bald. Yeah. But in the second episode, Phineas and Ferb became real villains. Doofenshmirtz, after learning that Vanessa admired his brother in her essay, created an inator that gives a person Doofenshmirtz's personality, hoping to use it to make Roger more like himself. However, the ray from the machine bounced off his perfect teeth and ended up turning all the main characters into Doofenshmirtz one by one. Yes, the idea is reminiscent of Night of the Living Pharmacists. However, this episode feels completely different. Phineas and Ferb are now hunched over, speak with a German accent, and also want to take over the tri-state area. Originally, they planned to organize a carnival with giant robots in the city, but now they're set on creating a carnival of evil, and each of their attractions has turned into a trap for the townspeople, forcing them to ride the carousels in terror. Can you imagine how terrifying it would be to ride a roller coaster without being able to grip the safety bars as hard as you can? People are forced to have endless fun with no way to stop, and the only one who can really stop them is Candace. What's especially funny is that the brothers call her Candace's sister, just like Doof calls Perry the platypus.
Candace the sister.
Stop calling me that!
The sinister mom and dad call her Candace daughter, and Jeremy calls her Candace girlfriend. Both Phineas and Ferb are just too good for anyone to be able to stop them. Monogram reported that Tri-State area has been completely taken over, but unfortunately it's not their jurisdiction to intervene. All of Candace's acquaintances have been Doofenshmirtzified, and she herself is trapped in a carnival contraption made by Phineas and Ferb. And in fact, the only thing that could ever really stop the brothers in their schemes was the universe itself. And exhausted from her relentless attempts, Candace is left literally begging the power of the universe to get rid of everything the brothers have done. She begs for the very thing she has always hated to happen. And everything works like clockwork. Thanks to yet another miraculous coincidence, Candace finally manages to press the self-destruct button on Phineas and Ferb's robots, since they've been stunned, and Perry destroys the Inator and Doofenshmirtz himself. As for Vanessa, in the end, she isn't impressed by Roger at all, she simply used his name for greater privileges, which made Doofenshmirtz even prouder of his daughter. This episode is both very funny, since the knockoff versions of the main characters are incredibly amusing, and at the same time, it once again plays brilliantly with the standard Phineas and Ferb formula, because essentially Candace is also trying to stop the brothers' scheme. But only in this episode do they essentially take on the roles of Doofenshmirtz and Perry. But unlike them, in this case, everything is resolved by the conventions of a typical Candace storyline. And that feels insanely cool. Once again, I'm convinced that Season 5 is truly the creative peak for the creators. This season is very unusual, but that only worked to its advantage.